my God, that was funny. Okay. So my team needed me to swap the video instead of doing up and down. We're doing lengthwise for the memberships and everything. And I thought I was live because it just looks different now. So I thought it didn't show the number, but so I thought I was live for a couple minutes and I was not live. I've only been doing this for years online. My entire company is on Facebook Lives basically, but I had no idea that I wasn't live. Hi, Kimberly. But my team will love that I remembered to go like this time. Okay. Welcome. Good morning. Hi, Amy. How are you guys? Thank you for saying hi. Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh, hi, Jess. Okay. Let me see. What are we doing for hashtag today? If you're brand new to me, please let me know. I know we got a lot of new people rolling in. I love welcoming you and saying hi. The tribe likes to welcome you and say hi as well because they're so loving and amazing. I noticed that too. You know, and let me know where you're from. And then if you're on the replay, let's do hashtag true. Because this is what I feel like... Oh, like the last couple months. So we know this. We know that every single thing that happens for us happens for us. Like truly not kidding, for us. If this was for me, what would I then do with this? And allowing that to be for us. You know, one of the ways I do it is by writing the story how I want it to turn out and then like really lock in those vibes. But there was this piece in there, right? I kind of noticed myself like I absorb really mass amounts of stuff and then I know how to break it down really well for my people because I'm the kind of person who asks 7 million questions. So I ask the 7 million, I know how to come from every angle to teach my tribe. It's just one of my gifts, right? So I like that about me and I like that about the way that I teach things because people can really get it a lot faster because it's not just said one way, it's said multiple different ways. But one of the things I also notice about myself is this, like this missing pieces that there's no answer for. And then I will be like a dog with a bone going to find the answer for that thing. And it's never a how, it's never something like that. It's always just oh, that makes sense to me, right? So one of the things that I've felt very dog with a bone like around was, are you really allowed to have everything you want, right? I mean, I had a million questions around this. Tell me if you've thought the same questions, right? Because I know we're all the same here. So, but what about the starving people? What about the people who you can see that they really can't get there from where they're at and they're kind of stuck? Is it really true that you're rescuing people or should you be making it a little bit easier for people? And, you know, should I have cheaper prices for everything so everybody can join or is it really okay that I do higher end? And what does it really mean if I'm doing high-end pricing for people? And what does it really mean if I have a private jet that I'm flying around? Or what does it really mean if I'm staying first class and flying first class? Or, you know, like having big, beautiful things and expensive things. And like, what does that really mean? What does that really do in the world? What's the ripple effect of that? Am I really just allowed to be happy? Am I really allowed to leave my marriage and get a divorce? Am I really allowed to, you know, release the control over my children and just love them and just be love for them? Am I really allowed to, you know, surround myself with these really incredible people and you know, pay $10,000 a month for mentors? And am I really allowed to have the freedom to travel the world? And like, not kidding. Does that really bring happiness? And is that a powerful way to show up on the planet? And when I'm 95 and looking back, will I be glad that I spent my time and my efforts on that kind of thing? And what does it really mean to be a leader online? And if I'm being a leader online, you know, what am I showcasing for people? And if I'm going to be leading people, like if I'm here on the forefront trailblazing, chopping a path for people, am I really leading them somewhere that I actually truly believe in? Do I really believe in this? What's the deal with manifestation? What's the deal with hustle and hard work? And I just kept asking a million questions. Hi, Jillian. Yes, resonating. Okay, I knew this would resonate with you guys, right? So I really went into a place of like, I need to know if this is true. This whole, like, you get to have everything that you desire and life gets to be so amazing and you just get to be happy and things get to come easy for you and you don't have to hustle and grind for all the things that you want. And that's just a made up story and things that you say that don't feel good, it's because they're not true. It's only things that, you know, feel good are true. And I was like, I need to know if I'm going to lead human beings, if I'm going to trailblaze this path, if I'm going to do all of this work to transform as a human being from like the mom that was on welfare to this incredibly wealthy, successful woman, and I'm going to leave a path for other people, I needed to know. and believe in every cell of my entire body that I was leading them somewhere good, that this was true, that this was real, that it wasn't like some kind of like pendulum swinging because women had oppression and now we're just claiming our power, but really we're claiming something that we don't even want. You know, same with using sex to sell. I needed to know, is expressing yourself sexually, is that just like a false thing that we made up because we need attention? Or is it a way to gain what we want so we have that security and freedom, but really it doesn't feel good? I needed to know, and I started asking the questions that were scary to ask and that were, you know, interesting to really question while I was also leading. And and I didn't stop until I felt it in every cell of my absolute being. What did I really believe about this? What did I really believe about being a powerful woman claiming all that she wants and having everything that I want? What do I really believe about what a want or desire is, right? Like, I mean, just kind of endless the questions I could be. I know these are resonating with you guys because we're all powerful beings moving forward and we all care deeply. Like, we really just want to do a good job and we want to heal and to help and to really lead and what's the word? To spread joy and happiness and love. And so I had people in my life who were like, you know, being debt free and don't worry about expensive things, and that's what makes people miserable. And, you know, the story about the guy that was fishing and the guy something like he came off a cruise ship and there was an old man fishing and the younger guy that was working so hard to make all this money so that he could fish. And the guy was like, well, why don't you just skip all that cycle to be able to come fish and just come fishing instead of having to do all that to free up your time to fish? And I remember that story triggered me so bad because I'm like, here I am working to build this empire, but I could just be off fishing. Like, and what does that mean? Like, what is the deal with all this? And like, I needed to know. And I felt like maybe the girls ahead of me, the women, the mentors, the men, the people crushing life and having these empires, like, did they ask these questions? Did they resolve these? Or did they just blindly lead it? And are they really actually happy? Like, are they happy or are they secretly stressed out and they're not telling the truth? Because I hear all these stories of like, you know, life is so amazing, it's so amazing. But then they say, but, you know, 5 years ago when I was so stressed out and it was so hard. But 5 years ago in their marketing, they were saying how amazing life was. And I was like, what is the deal with this? Is everybody just friggin' pretending they're happy and being wealthy isn't actually anything that creates anything amazing on this planet, or does it, right? So I just kept, I wouldn't stop. I just was relentlessly going to find an answer one way or the other. And I decided somewhere along the way that I didn't care if this ended me up in a shack on my brother's land in Carolina, living off the property, helping him till the land. And, you know, my bills are like $10K a year. And I just, you know, I make the $10K so easily and then I would just live that way. So I decided that, I mean, I got to the place where I decided if that was a thing, if that was true.
The roof is leaking.
Oh, inside?
Yes.
All right.
I'm sitting in the middle of your office and there's water coming down from the ceiling. I got one here and two here.
Okay. Can you put a towel underneath?
Yeah, but it's not a lot.
There's a red bucket in the garage. Use that. Thank you. It's pouring out here. And apparently there's now a leak in the office. Oh! Okay. What was I saying? Right. So I kept wondering, like, I came to the place where I decided that if this wasn't the thing that led people to joy and happiness and freedom and ease, and if this isn't what expanded humanity, if this wasn't what healed the most amount of people, if this wasn't the thing that elevated us to the next level, if this wasn't work that truly deeply mattered and healed people, I would burn it all down. And I'm telling you, I meant it. I meant I would burn it all down. I didn't care. I would walk away from every single thing and I would tell the truth about it. And I would clean up whatever mess I had to clean up. And that would be that. And I would choose whatever did bring joy and happiness, right? So in this journey, the destination was simply knowing what I believe. That was the destination. I didn't need to control what it looked like or what the outcome was. And the outcome that I came to through, I would say this is a good 2 years of asking, 1 year of seeking, which is different. I, for the last year, have really sought all of this. I mean, everything. I left no stone unturned. I'm including orgasms and sex and romance. And I mean, basically every human experience that we could have, religion, you know, faith, and all of it was just like, these are the stories I hear. These are the conflicting things that I'm hearing. What is the middle path? Is it dichotomy? Is it not? Like, just all of it, right? And this is the conclusion I came to, which feels so good to have the clarity and the knowing in every cell of my being. And it's what the entire Unresisted Life program is based off of. Because I don't think there's anything more valuable I could ever bring to the planet than the work I'm doing with y'all in the Unresisted Life. And that's mandyperry.com/unresisted. We start at like 2 o'clock today. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I think we start. And there is an extended payment plan because I wanted everybody to be able to do this if they wanted to. And single moms get 50% off if you didn't know. Okay. So the conclusion I came to was, you really do get to have it all. You do. Like, actually, no kidding. It's a powerful way. And this, some of the time when I was doing work with clients, I do it differently than any mentor I've ever had, because this is just what really feels like integrity to me, and it feels like the most powerful, shortest way through. And I'm all about simplicity and ease. I'm the queen of simple and the queen of easy. I just allow a lot of amazing things to happen in a really easy way, unless I don't, right? But most of the time I do, especially in my company I do, right? So one of the things I do, so my client will come to me with this belief about, basically, I'm bad if it comes easy. Everything needs to be a struggle. I need to prove why I want what I want. And also kind of a hesitancy about, am I really being a good person if I let myself matter and I give myself everything I desire? And what I learned was, all I had to do with my clients was get clear what they really believe, because you will never show up more and deeper and bigger and more powerfully than something that is a value for you. You will not go against your true values. You might not even know what they are, but they are driving your train, and you will not go against your values. It's one of the most powerful human motivators in all of human personality, is your values, your beliefs, like what is right and wrong to you kind of deal, right? I feel like right and wrong is bad terminology to use, but anyway, your values, right? So when I would get clear with someone, what I want to do is just create more happiness in the world. It's kind of like a vague thing. Like, how do we do that? And there's a lot of places to get stuck and tripped up. And when I would dig into it, what they really believed was being happy is the thing that created happiness in the world, but they didn't realize that, and it wasn't wired together. As soon as we flick that switch in whatever area of life they're feeling sticky on, the behavior naturally just changes, right? Because the belief leads to, you guys know this, I believe a story, that story leads to emotions, my emotions lead to behavior, and behavior gets me the results that I want or don't want, the consequence or the breakthrough, right? So then I started, like, when I started watching that, I started realizing that believing you get to have everything you want, believing that you're worthy, believing and understanding, not really, but understanding that there is infinite abundance. Like, people are going to have private jets anyway. The private jet isn't going to go anywhere. You either just allow yourself to experience that or not. The overflows of money aren't going to go anywhere. You either allow yourself to let that flow in through you or you don't. And it was really it always came back to your values, your focus, and allowing. It really was always about allowing this thing to come in. And the only thing that stopped us from allowing the thing to come in was the crazy mischief stories or beliefs that actually weren't in alignment with your values. You didn't even know what your values were. You really had no clarity on what you desired. And so there was this wishy-washiness, like, do I desire a man to propose to me and take care of me? Or do I desire a man to give me freedom so I can frolic the world and go, date other men? Do I desire to have a thriving business, or do I desire to be dependent on my husband so I know what it feels like to be taken care of? Do I desire to have tons of clients just like raving from the rooftops, or do I desire to have like anonymity and nobody gets to know me? And these clashing stories is what holds everybody back. We already knew part of that, but I think the piece that's been missing, which is so my honor to bring to the world, is the words that bridge the gap between this feeling that we long to have ease and pleasure and joy and satisfaction, and the beliefs, the stories, the experiences, the walls we run into, the cyclic behavior that tells us that, but we can't have that. And healing the pain between the sensation of I want that thing, or I don't even dare to admit it, but it's kind of out here in my peripherals, but I feel like I'm not allowed to have it, and I want to be a good person more. Like, I really just want to be a good person. And to me, being a good person doesn't look like having private jets, flying around the world, having massive success, millions of dollars, tons of raving fans, being treated with importance and significance, being treated like, yeah, you're really important, and the kind of life where you have expensive flowers everywhere that are going to die in a week and it didn't matter because you were that important and that significant. The kind of life where you have clients just raving about you and sharing you with everybody because they just love you that much, and you've developed that kind of relationship because you allowed that. The kind of life where you wake up and you feel clear what your day is, and you feel satisfaction, and you feel alignment with the way that you're thinking, the way that you're feeling, and the way that you're taking action is all just kind of there, and it's in flow. And what people are missing and not understanding is the sensation in your body of stuckness or fear or pain or frustration or anger or confusion, right? A lot of stuckness and confusion and like just these battling feelings inside, or shame or guilt for, I should be more disciplined, I should be better at this, I should be whatever, right? Very, very common with thousands of people that I coach. It's a very common thing that I see. They're not associating the right feelings, right? So I feel like I could have found better words for that too, but you get the gist, right? So it's, I feel scared or frustrated or angry or disappointed in myself or jammed or whatever the thing is. And I think that's because my behavior isn't the way I think it should be. If I could just be more disciplined, if I could just be more organized, if I could just be more clear, if I could just be more whatever, then I would finally feel how I want to feel. And the reason I feel so shitty is because I'm not showing up how I should, or I can't control these people, or, if this person wasn't screwing me over, or whatever the thing is. But that's not what you're feeling. That's the story you made up about the sensation in your body. But what you're actually feeling is your soul, right? You can use whatever language you want, but your soul is screaming at you, that's not true. That's not true. It's not true that you're unworthy. It's not true that you need more discipline. It's not true that you're smart. It's not true that you'll be a bad person if that. It's not true that you have to figure this thing out. It's not true that whatever the mischief that happens to be area that you're not getting the results you desire, you've associated the feeling in your body of the wisest, strongest part of you, the you that shows up and looks forward and just marches on and chooses the next thing and gives herself what she desires and locks into that and includes people in it in the journey along the way and makes her offers and calls people to rise to it and believes in people and holds the vision for them and keeps moving forward. No justification, no explaining, no nothing. She just keeps going forward and keeps moving towards that vision, rising, right? So that part of you is being like, no, sorry. You don't get to go sit over there and squat in your mire, muck and mire, mire, squat in your mire. I have no idea where these words are coming from, right? You don't get to go live over there in the shit. You get to live here in the sunshine and the flowers everywhere. And I'm so determined that you get to have that I'm going to shoot out these crappy feelings so that you get back on track. And people get stuck over there. They get lost over there in this place of like, I feel bad because I'm doing bad. And if I could just do better, then I would finally feel better. And all of that is complete mischief and bullshit. And in that story, in that place where they're trying to feel better, so they're trying to do better, they're desperately pulling in things, right? I know we don't like that word desperation, but it is what it is. The very first thing we're doing in the unresisted life is getting clear what you're desperate for, because that's what you'll get every single time. And I'm going to teach you how to shift that, right? So in this place over here where they're desperate to be different so they can create what they want to create, they're wasting their time and energy and money, and they're just throwing it at shit, hoping things work. And that's the whole energy of what's going on, whether they realize it or not. Versus the recognition and understanding that what they're feeling is that you're living in a boogeyman world. You're purposely crawling back into a kid. You're unknowingly becoming a kid, crawling back in your bed, telling a story that there's a boogeyman under your bed and too scared to get out of the bed. That's why it feels bad, because none of it is real. And that is what I spent the last 2 years trying to understand, and the last year absolutely dog with a chasing and turning and becoming clear, like, is that really true? Or is this some weird fluffy bullshit that people are making tons of money off of online, and none of it's really true, and none of it leads to true joy and impact on humanity? Because I needed to know if I was going to impact humanity, did that look like Mother Teresa serving and, being off, getting the starving children not starving anymore? Or did it look like chasing my dreams and my value? And the thing that I've come to understand is you cannot give what you don't have. You cannot give $1 if you do not have $1. And I don't mean we're giving money away. I'm talking about you can't give something you don't have. So unless you've given it and created it for yourself in your own life, you never can create it for people out there in the world. And the people who try to do that are the people who put themselves out trying to support everybody else. And really they're frustrated because they wish that they have such a good heart and they just wish they were in a stronger position. I wish I was stronger so that I could help more people. But yet somehow never get themselves stronger because they're never willing to ask the real questions or face the thing or look at it to tell the real truth, to see clearly what their values are, and then align themselves in their mind, in their thoughts, in their thinking, in their stories, in their beliefs, in their energy, in their feeling, and then the behavior naturally changes. And do you know the only thing it ever took to get there? Just some trust. It's really, honestly, from watching so many people, it takes courage and trust that when you let it feel good and easy and you dare to tell the truth about what you really desire and you dare to go give yourself the experience that you desire, allow yourself to have some of the experiences that you desire, that everything will work out. Most people just don't have the courage to take that chance, to risk that. It's too scary to let myself feel like, if it's been this hard, Mandy, how could doing less and doing things that feel good get me where I want to go? That makes no sense. That sounds like bullshit. It sounds like you're selling air, right? But it's not. And most people don't have the courage to stop frantically doing all the behavior, to free up enough energy and space and time and everything in order to start to feel better, which is in the place where all the stuff starts to just happen. And that's why I say it gets to be easy. It doesn't mean the work is easy for you to dare to let go enough to stop controlling it. Like, dear God, please give me this, please give me this, please. But you're holding on so tight, there's no room, and we don't dare to just release a little bit and create some space for all the good to come in. Because when you allow the good to come in, you can't get answers standing still. The only way that I got the answers I sought after for the last 2 years, was by actually allowing myself to have the experiences, to have the first class flights and buy the Chanel bag and have the expensive things and release any need to have all the expensive need at the same time, completely releasing it like none of it matters, and being in the space of like, oh, wait. So it felt so triggery and desperate to have all these things until I had them and I realized they were no big deal. And then it was always about the journey. And I would have never understood any of this if I hadn't been allowing myself to have the experiences that I desired now. That includes investing in mentors and, and being around other people. It includes, look, if I can never have higher level friends if I don't dare to be around higher level friends, because I don't want to be the screwed up one. I'll never have a man who take care of me in a big way if I never go on a date with him because I'm too scared to manage how it's going to feel when he pays for this or does that or whatever the thing is. Or I keep choosing men who are hyper focused on me because I have no career and no passion and they just put all their attention on me and that's what I'm familiar with. I'm never going to have the experience of massive wealth and overflow if I don't give myself a chance to see what it feels like to have the expensive things. I'm never going to have that sensation experience of life of being fully supported and taken care of if I don't first allow someone to start taking care of me. When you want something or desire something, it's already moving, it's already happening. I know you've had this experience in some areas of life. Like some areas of life, it just keeps always happening for you. And people are like, how do you get to have that? Well, maybe that's a family and love and it just always felt so easy for you. Or for some people, they're like, I can't figure that out. Maybe you're the one who has success in your company and success in your, in your business or as a corporate person and it just was always easy for you. Maybe for you, it's fitness and just eating well. And people are like, how do you eat well? I don't understand. I eat chocolate cake every day, right? Like there's some area of life. Maybe it's motherhood. Maybe it's being a sister or an aunt or a mom or a friend, and friendship just comes easy for you and you just always plan things and you're always connecting people, and whatever area of life it is, it's like you already know what it feels like to just have that experience of that thing versus what it feels like when you're not giving yourself permission to experience the thing. When I went to Bali, right? Like I had all these Christian stories and like fear stuff. Like I literally grew up I love my mom to death, and it is what it is. She doesn't mind me sharing. I grew up like, she used to show me all these horrible movies about people getting their heads chopped off if you got the mark of the beast, and like that was the world I grew up in. I always thought I was going to be in this like war for life, right? Total PTSD. No surprise I joined the Marine Corps, right? Like soldier from the beginning. So I had to experience something else. Like I went to Bali, even though I was taught that that was basically like the epitome of hell because they worship idols and all this kind of stuff. And then I went to the water temple there, and it was like their temple. And I was literally shaking. And I went to a Balinese person and I said, I'm confused. I don't worship your God. I worship my God, but you're allowing me to come in your temple where I'm from. If you worship a different God, you're not really allowed in our church. And I'm wondering why you allow me to go into your water temple. And I had the balls to ask the questions. I had the balls to dare to hope that if I was gonna worship a God, it was gonna feel a whole lot better than the one that I've been shown, because this shit don't make any sense to me, and it does not feel good, and it's scary, and I don't like it. And I had the courage to just dare to go outside of it and experience something. And in that experience, you know what his response to me was? It changed my whole entire life. But it would have never happened if I didn't have the courage to just allow myself to have an experience I wanted. His answer to me was, there's only one God. Your God is the same as my God. You're free to worship your God in our temple. It was so simple. So simple. And it was such full acceptance and love. And I thought, that's not how people are treated in my church. This feels like love. That doesn't. I don't need to know anything else. This feels like love. I don't care what their God's name is. None of that mattered to me. It was like, this feels like love. And I started to allow myself to just find where love felt true. What feels like real love? And I came to the place where I'm now the kind of human being who accepts any belief that anyone has with zero judgment, because we believe what we believe, and anything other than that is really ridiculous to try to pretend we believe something else. And it's not my job to convince people what they're supposed to believe. That's sacred ground between them and God. That's their sacred space. I don't belong in that space. That's not my space. My space is between me and my God and doing my journey, right? So it was like all these things were first having the courage to allow myself to be supported. After my first mentor screwed me over pretty bad, I had the courage to invest in another mentor, to dare to go back out there and say, holy crap, $6,000 a month. I'm going to pay this girl $6,000 a month to coach me. That's insane. And I dared to do it. I didn't know how I was going to keep paying for it. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I dared to actually go after allowing myself to experience what I desired. It's not a sin to experience something. That is how we learn. It's not reckless to experience something, to give yourselves permission to have and experience the things that you desire, to tell yourself the truth. You are not going to turn into a bad person from being happier. You cannot become bad from happiness. That doesn't happen. That's like saying, the opposite would be, I can't masculine a man into his masculinity. You're not going to bully your husband into being sweet to you, right? You can't do that. So joy and happiness and receiving and allowing and treating yourself like you're important and giving yourself the things that you desire and choosing to experience what you desire to experience right now. Nothing bad can come from that. This is like the 2-year revelation that I finally come to. Only good comes from you giving yourself what you desire. Only good comes from it. Nothing bad comes from it. And what's the real truth? When we're looking at the world, when we're looking at, if I leave this planet and I wanted to have raised the bar for humanity, living on the frontier, being in the frontier, living on that edge, that cutting edge out there, where I'm challenging the beliefs, where I'm challenging the stories that I was taught, where I'm challenging that it has to be a struggle. When I'm living out there on that cutting edge out there, that's how I change humanity. And so let me just tell you the conclusion I came to. The full conclusion that I came to was that allowing yourself to acknowledge and go after and receive and experience your desires will change the vibration, will change the availability, will change all of humanity forever. Not only is it completely false that allowing yourself to have your true desires. And I don't mean those surface impulsive desires, like I feel like eating a bag of chips and staying home and skipping everything. That's not a real desire. You don't feel good after you do that. I'm talking about the desires that expand you, the real desires, the ones that make you feel loved and important and well taken care of, and like life is beautiful, and like that feeling of like, oh, this is how life should be. Nobody feels that when they eat a bag of chips. Do you feel the difference? I'm talking about those kind of desires. When you live on that cutting edge of those, allowing yourself to have your actual desires, which we've been wired to feel like is selfishness, that contributes to all of humanity expanding to the next level. This is my final conclusion. And it was really like if we just woke up every single day and we got really clear what we wanted, and then we did the work to clear the things that make us feel like we're not allowed to have those, we would have everything that we desire. But we don't do that alone. We don't do that without experience. Like the changing of the religious stuff that I was taught happened because I had the courage to go to Bali, which was absolutely terrifying, and then go inside of a temple and then go inside of water where they were pouring over my head and ask the questions. And I was literally shaking, like I was basically taught that going in this temple meant blasphemy to God and I would go to hell and it's unforgivable. So in that moment, I had to make a decision. Do I believe it's unforgivable? Is that the kind of God I want to worship? Does that feel true to me? And block out the noise that was screaming in my head and actually feel in my body. And through my shaking and my tears and my feeling like I was literally going to crap my pants, I allowed myself to experience something. And on the other side of that had such profound transformation. The same thing happens with massive investments that I make in myself. The same thing happens with allowing support to come in and like having cleaners and people take care of everything and feeling so well taken care of. Every experience, it's the same thing that happens with having expensive things and you know what it feels like to calibrate even to something like a Chanel bag or a beautiful car or this beautiful home somewhere tropical, and each time having these massive frictions that I feel and allowing myself to just keep experiencing them and allowing them come in. Does this make sense? And so basically, I feel like my purpose here on the planet is to support people in learning how to stop blocking all the things that are already available for them. So the story that they have of, I have to push and be more disciplined and figure it out and throw money everywhere, and oh, it's like this thing that I have to do, where they're actually just treading water and getting nowhere when they could be on the slip and slide enjoying the whole entire ride. My job is to help people get over to the slip and slide and enjoy the mother loving ride, because everything that your dream life, who you're meant to become, your purpose, all of it is already in motion. It's already there. It's already available. Just like all the men asking me to go out that are these, you know, very successful men asking me to go out, but I wasn't choosing them. I was choosing, it was already there. All I had to do was allow it to come in, allow myself to have those initial experiences that felt scary and that felt unfamiliar to my system, and allow myself to have those experiences so that I could shift and become familiar with something else. So the unresisted life is the journey of you learning. It's probably something you've heard 10 million times, but my expertise is to help you to see from every angle how it's true, to really work out any resistances that you have to really allowing it to be true for you. But not only that, to build in systems. What I've done is I didn't build systems for anything big. I built in systems like my 911 plan. I know what to do when I feel depressed. I know what to do when I feel scared. I know what to do when I'm stressed with money. I know what to do when I feel lonely. I know what to do when I feel like I'm worthless or like who am I to even be doing this? I've worked in systems and really amazing, easy ways to navigate these feelings so that we slide right through them and actually enjoy the experience of becoming. And the thing that I'm calling people to, so if you're feeling like I'm not sure if the unresisted life is for me, let me say this to you. Well, first of all, you already know. You already knew right away, right? There was like an instant answer that you had, I want this, or, you know, like I want this. If you want this, it's meant for you, end of story. And then you get to navigate how you get to allow that in for yourself. But what it really is learning how to have enough trust in the process that you will stop the frantic behavior of trying to figure it out and make it work, and you will get a taste of allowing it to come through, which are two completely different ways of experiencing life. So for some people, it feels like I'm being impulsive, or some people, it feels like I'm being reckless, or some people, it feels like I'm being selfish. You'll identify what that is. It's not. It's literally just not blocking the things you desire anymore. It's unresisted life. It's like, this is everything my life was meant to be. And learning the skill of not resisting what's already going to happen and already moving and already available for you and already wildly in abundance, and it's just already happening. It's all already happening. There's no fight for you to have to get there. There's no weight that I have to, like force myself. No, it's all just is what it is. It's going to feel like weight sometimes, and we're going to learn how to push that weight up, and it's going to feel like a fight sometimes, and we're going to learn that like it's all meant to be fun. This was always meant to be fun. Life is meant to be really fun. It's all meant to be just this fun, really fun journey. We make it so big and so serious. And by doing that, we push and push and push and push away the things that we really desire, because we get scared, because we get confused, because we just don't know how to set up and design our life to live the unresisted life. We're never taught to do. We were taught the exact opposite of it. Right? This is really a process of unlearning and undoing, not doing and pushing and all of the other things. And what magically happens on the other side is you'll find yourself just doing all of these things. And you've probably heard other people say it, but really it feels like you're doing nothing at all, because you're just being everything you were always meant to be. And there's no efforting behind it. There's no disciplining myself and pushing and forcing myself. And as you've already noticed, you're not going to do that anyway. How many areas of your life that you try so hard to force yourself to show up big in, that you do for a week or two and then you don't anymore, because the wisest part of you is going, no, I just refuse to live that way. It doesn't have to be like this. And the wisest part of you is refusing to allow you to continue building life by forcing and pushing and willing and disciplining and frantically throwing at shit and letting it be all this chaotic mess. You're just unavailable for that. That's why it's not broken through. That's why. So when we can actually trust enough and have enough faith to give ourselves a taste of what it feels like to allow it to come in, that's when you'll have confidence. You'll build your confidence around it. That muscle will grow. But first we got to at least get people to the place where they're tasting it. They're getting a taste of it, and they've released it enough to let go in the areas of life that matter the most, the areas of life that we feel desperate about. How many times we asked ourselves just like, what are you desperate for? That's the first work we're doing. Like, in my body, what do I feel desperate for? Because my body is sonic booming something out to the planet, and I don't even know what that is, and it's controlling everything. That's, people call it the 6-year-old, there's so many different names for it, but really it's just what I'm desperate for. That's it. And really, manifesting is just letting something become familiar. You know how powerful something familiar is to us. Right? Like when you let it be familiar, all the blocks are magically just gone. This is not hard stuff. But it did take me 2 years to find the words and the understanding and really, really believing it, so that I knew where I was going first, right? I wanted to know where I was going would lead me to a place of real satisfaction and joy and ease. I needed to know that, but I also needed to know that the path that I was creating for others to step into, if that was what felt good, that I was creating a path that I felt like was in integrity for me to create for people. And does everybody go on that path? And is this available for everyone? And et cetera, et cetera. It's like, yep. I know it in every cell in my entire body. I know it's available for everyone. I know it can happen right now. I know it just takes courage and the willingness to expand and experience new things, so that new things can become familiar, and that this was always the journey it was meant to look like. And people are either going to choose to allow it in now, or they're going to choose a story of like, I need to figure it out myself. And they stay stuck in things that consume their time and energy, so that they're not ever getting a taste of the feel goods, right? And that's what holds people back. Not because it's hard to have success, not because it's hard to find happiness, or it's hard to experience the kind of experience. None of that's hard. It's not hard. And I know that might trigger some people, but it is what it is. It's not hard. I'm not going to lie to you just to support you in feeling better, right? Like, you get to look at it for what it is and do the actual work that will transform you into pushing off, like, I have to do this before I can feel this. No. It's not real. It really is safe for you. It's powerful and safe and beautiful and expansive to the entire human race for you to allow yourself to have the things that you desire. I know this, like I know it. And my intention is to support all of my clients and my potential clients and anyone in my tribe and community or following my stuff online, for them to hear and get answers to the questions that were stopping them from allowing that to be a reality in their life, because I feel like the questions are okay. It's safe to ask the questions and to work this out and make it your own, right? It's like, it's got to be yours. It's got to be your real beliefs and your real values and your actual understanding of this. And you need to be able to connect the dots to, if I do this work and show up this way, this really does help the world. And this is how it helps the world. Because otherwise the pull to like help the people that are in desperate need is just going to keep screaming at us. And that never ends. That doesn't go away. You can't, if maybe if we could magically like, I'm going to eradicate all of hunger and I'm going to go do that right now. And maybe that would be a legit story to argue against happiness and joy, but that's not real, right? Like the needing people are never going to go away because there's always going to be people who don't choose it. But the most powerful way for you to be able to give that, for that to be more available on the planet, is to give it to yourself first. It's the only way. It's the only way. It is the only way. Suffering cannot help others suffering. You can't suffer your way into other people not suffering. I love you guys very much. So this is the conclusion I came to. It really is real, and it really is fully abundant, and it's there and available anyway. You can either allow yourself to participate in having it or not, but there's no reason not to. There's none. There's zero reasons not to. All of it is just bullshit fears, and the reason it feels bad is because it's not true. That's really the reason it feels bad. So I hope this drives in deep for people. If you feel like you've been in the energy of feeling guilty for having the really big visions that you have, right? Like some people are still feeling guilty for even taking time for themselves, let alone these big, huge visions. But this is a container for big visions, for big, massive growth, for big, huge shifting and allowing ease into your life, for having the courage to allow that space to do the work, for you to feel free to like open up a little bit and allow things to start coming in versus trying to control it all and being the CEO of all the universe, and really just allowing yourself to be well taken care of and supportive. And then when we do the work to align the feelings that you have, which is where all the transformation happens, in the emotions, transformation happens in the emotions, right? And then feeling like you know and have a systematic way to actually manage this and do this, not just for you, for your clients. This is something you're going to spread to everybody around you. It's being able to systematically know how to go through this process and bring yourself to the place where you're no longer resisting the man that will take care of you for the guy that just is obsessed with you because he has nothing better to do in life, which is the example of the day. Okay, let me put the link to the doors close in 48 hours, I think, for the Unresisted Life. It comes with one-on-ones with me. It comes with Q&As, and then it comes with the whole process that I'm going to teach you guys on how to do this. mandyperry.com/unresisted. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Oh, I hope this resonates. And I just want to let you know, it's coming. It's available for you to have the deep knowing and clarity around everything that you desire. So whatever area feels foggy or confusing or hard or frustrating or whatever it is, clarity is available for you, and it's available right now. You get to have that. I don't believe in coincidences. If it's this live, it's the program, whatever it is, everything that's needed for you to have the clarity that you desire so that you're not resisting the things that you desire is available for you, and it's available for you right now. Like right now. It's just telling the truth. I desire clarity. I want clarity around this. I don't want to feel resistance or confusion about this anymore. I don't want to feel these cyclic behaviors. I don't want to blah, blah, blah. Here you are. Here's the Unresisted Life. You get to choose that. You get to believe that it gets to be available for you, and you get to keep allowing stuff in, or whatever resource or whatever thing that comes to mind right now that you desire to have, right? If it's available ever, it's available now. End of story. It really is a process of allowing. And in the beginning, sometimes it takes a lot of courage to look at the thing, to face it, to admit what you want, and to start choosing things to allow the experiences to come into your life. That's really the only part that I feel like was really scary, was really allowing the experiences to come in. So in that beginner phase, it's like there's a lot of momentum going a different way, and now we have to allow the experience to come in. So we're allowing the experience to come in so we can start building a little bit of familiarity around it. And then we kind of calm down enough to really hear and understand. What most people do is they try to understand before they allow experience in, and then they just run their wheels, and they feel like they just keep learning and learning, but they don't ever implement the stuff they're learning, or like, I understand all of this, but I'm not doing it, or it's not happening, or whatever the feeling is, right? The Unresisted Life could not be more right on time. Yay! I'm so excited. Caitlin's in, Jacqueline's in. I love you guys. Yeah, we start today. I can't friggin' wait. I feel ready for this. finally, I feel ready. Like I never wanted to, I needed to know. I needed to know that I knew that I knew that I knew in every cell of my body. And I traveled the whole world and launched myself into epic, amazing things to get to the place where I know, and I'm ready. I'm ready to hold this space for people. I'm so excited. I just know the level of transformation that's going to happen is going to be completely out of control. I already know. You know, you feel that and you just feel it. I know. And I'm very excited about it. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, I will see everybody who's joining us today at 2:00. And I think the doors close. I didn't look right before here, but the doors close in 2 or 3 days. But I think it's 48 hours from now. Maybe it's 3 days. Either way, 2 or 3 days. There's no sense in waiting. This is really just, does this resonate? Are you ready to expand to this level? Do you have a little bit of courage and faith to start trusting that it could be easier than it is now, and allowing yourself to dare to dream of the big, real big things that you desire in your life, and then allowing those to come in and releasing the story that you had to struggle to get there, and that struggle was self-created, and that all of the things that feel bad are self-inflicted. And it's actually, I know this sounds weird, but what I've really come to understand is it's radical self-responsibility. It's being responsible for the stories that you're choosing and for the feelings that you feel in consequence of the stories that you're choosing. And then just believing, that's the easy part to understand, but the harder part is like really believing that you deserve and are worthy for whatever amount of time or money or resources required for you to transform that and to heal those stories and to get on the other side of those stories so that you feel more worthy. Like if it takes me 6 months to get to the place where I desire, then it takes me 6 months to get to the place I desire because I'm worthy to take up 6 months to get to that place. Like in 10 years, it won't matter if it took me 6 days or 6 months. I got there. It was always about just like whatever actually is 100% acceptable. And the only reason we're in a rush is because we feel like we won't get what we desire. We're not valuable unless we do that. And we choose rushing. We choose pressure. We choose like there's some kind of pressure and time for us to get where we need to go. And that's actually the thing making it take the longest to get there. I'm all about instant results and getting there as fast as possible. And this is the way to get there as fast as possible. It's all the mischief and shenanigans that we create. And in this program, it is about radical self-responsibility. It's really taking ownership and responsibility and accountability for the feelings that we feel and the stories that we choose that create the behaviors that we don't like. And then knowing and understanding that that's also very easy to fix. And it's not about going back to our childhood and all these other things. It's actually just once we understand that it really, once we free up, it's not really understanding. Once you have the courage to free up doing all the frantic things based on the frantic feelings that we have that were all based in complete bullshit, that's when it's like, there seems to be so much time to do all the things that I want to do. Before it felt like I had no time and I wasn't getting anything done. Now I'm getting all these power moves done, these incredible things that give me all the results I want, but it feels like I'm doing nothing. That is the change in the feeling. That's the difference. I'm glad I found the words for it. That's what it feels like being different. So if that's the transformation you're looking for, the unresisted life is for you. Yes. Okay, guys. My daughter's told me that my office is leaking. I need to go find out what's happening. It's been raining like nonstop here. So, and I guess the roof is older here. So time for a new roof. All right, guys, I love you so much. I will see you guys in the unresisted life. I cannot wait to get started. I'm very excited you were here to hear this preemptive talk too. That feels good too. So I love you. If you have any questions, reach out and let me know. Have an amazing day. I will see you guys in there. Bye.